Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our weekly, bi-weekly, semi-periodical, occasional-ish
when we when,
news.
when we feel like it.
But yeah, whenever we get around to it. Um, Not much has happened in the past week. Certainly no big explosions in the sky or anything.
Mm.
Yeah. It seems somebody, and I haven't gone and looked at the YouTube propaganda to see what I could probably just, predict is going on without even bothering. Um, Somebody has blown up a Russian airliner as it departed from an Egyptian airport, and everybody on board died. God rest their souls. Um, I now on my first hamster's soul. I did not look on YouTube yet to see what the shill list channels have been saying about this, but I'm sure it's something like United States backed Islamic State has blown up a Russian airliner. So basically, I'm sure America's being blamed on the propaganda crazy news on YouTube without even looking at it. Like I have not. What was the last thing we looked on? We looked for Little Man Tate on YouTube because our daughter went to a accelerated math competition. Yes, we're very very proud of her. Um,
Apparently, it was a pretty hard test too. But yay, our daughter, and it was voluntary on a Saturday, so that tells you anything.
yeah, my wife texted me. There's a lot of Asian kids here, and I said, "Wow, our daughter really is smart! Yay!" Yes, I'm a racist bastard because I think Asian people are smart. Okay.
And apparently, I am too because I noticed how many Asian kids there were there.
Trina's a legitimate smart person. She's competing with Asian kids. Anyway. So. Right, it's not working, but it's lit anyway. Enough. Lit enough. Yeah. So, yeah. What's been going on at home, dear? Mostly just the debates and stuff, huh?
Pretty much, except you got the Navy doing their missile testing, making everybody in Los Angeles think there was a UFO going across the sky.
Yeah, if you didn't see this video, there's one of them things, kind of looks like one of the weird spiral videos and one of the other videos that came out, only, our missiles, they go, straight. And this was I don't know, some kind of slow rising sort of thing that a lot of different, even little private space companies have been testing out slow rise rockets. I find those very interesting.
That just sounds.
You can't really, I can't really tell if they're computer graphics or not. But then this whole thing that we're told people saw, I couldn't tell if that was real or not either. We just saw a video of it and we're told people saw it. Didn't hear from any of them fucking people, did we?
No.
If anybody saw a little, interview with anybody who saw it, feel free to comment below.
Or send us a link.
Link, that kind of thing. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so in local news, I believe Obama has signed a budget that did not quite end the sequester, but has funded the military sufficiently, he said.
Prevented Congress from closing and shutting down again.
Yeah. So no government shutdown. Yeah. But the sequester, I want to talk about the sequester. Wildfires and kidnappings and shit in national parks um, kidnappings in general, the funding of local police, the additional psychological training of local police, all of this goes back to the sequester. Can you think of anything else there? Like local things that might have shut down because of, Bobby Jindal's reaction to the sequesters?
Oh, you mean like our charity hospitals and whatnot?
Oh, yeah.
Our emergency rooms for the
Yeah,
hospitals
because
that
who the
have
fuck
been
needs
allowed.
those?
Yeah, one of the worst areas of town where I work. Most shootings that happen at night there. Usually during the day it's pretty safe, but at night there's a whole lot of shootings, and they shut down the emergency room to the only hospital in the area.
This includes mental health care.
Planned Parenthood, they're trying to screw Planned Parenthood over, which, by the way, is not all about abortions. Jesus Christ, they help women with contraceptive pills and
And this hospital served Angola and the local prisons, and was kind of a waypoint for mental health. And two mental health facilities and that facility have been shut down, causing a massive overload and backlog inside the prison system in Louisiana, because they used to rely on these additional facilities to help their staff out. They even, what's it called? The juvenile LTI was listed as one of the things that was having a problem because.
The Jetson Center shut down.
Yeah, so feel free to comment below about how the sequester has affected your local state governments or anything local that's been going on in your area,
Ooh,
especially medically related.
I got one more. The insurance company that we're currently using is shutting down at the end of the year.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, granted, we got a better health plan this go round, but
See what happens when the state you're in resists Obamacare and tries to say it's evil and death panels and blah 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 like Bobby Jindal did, is it opens up the door to fucking con artist agencies, because they basically resist implementing anything. They resist allowing Obamacare so long that the only people that get set up are the ones who participate in corruption. And Louisiana's got a bit of a corruption problem. And I've done security and strategy work for some of the guys who are into the corrupt side of state politics here. And I've hung out with a few of them, and kind of turned the other way when I realized their character, so to speak. But one thing I can tell you is that fake businesses that can leverage their way into being with money just to make more money and then disappear, very common in Louisiana. Anyways, so another thing that the sequester happened that I want to talk about that I think is very serious. The National Security Agency, the CIA, and the Department of Defense, the DoD intelligence websites, have broken email links. And these email links include how to report cybersecurity threats to the United States and how to report propaganda, like basically information insecurity. And see, the CIA intelligence submit a tip contact form doesn't work, and apparently they're not checking their voicemail either. So, in the comments below, please try to contact the CIA, the National Security Agency, the Department of Defense, and let them know that pseudo-Islamic that basically KGB infiltration is propagating the internet. Okay? Let them know that this is something that bothers you. Let them know that, I don't know, dude. Can you think of anything else? I mean, let them know that this is a threat. How just misinformation is propagating online, and people are being led to treason via the internet, and it's just not okay. I mean, free speech is one thing, but organized propaganda from a foreign intelligence agency is another thing, and the government needs to have it reported. And it doesn't seem to me like the sequester is allowing us to report it. See, to me, it seems like there's subversives in Congress. I mean, do you think?
Oh, always.
Like the whole the whole attitude people like Ron Paul take towards Putin, for instance, take towards our military. I mean, basically everything that Putin wants, Ron Paul wants. Everything that Putin criticizes about us, Ron Paul criticizes about us. And I mean Rand Paul, right? Rand Paul,
Rand Paul's
the guy with the
son.
hair that looks like a toupee.
Yeah.
That's running for president against the guy with the toupee that looks, or, I don't know, that looks like a muskrat. Died. Some I This lighter is no more. It is deceased, dead. It is an ex-lighter.
Oh, here's something else we neglected to mention.
What's that?
Obama vetoed the Keystone Pipeline deal.
Keystone Pipeline. I I'd like to point out something about the Keystone Pipeline that the General Electric media doesn't seem to want to mention much. That this pipeline wasn't just there to pump our shale. It was there to pump Russian oil from the ports to increase our capacity.
Well, I didn't read too much into what's been going on with that lately. However, I do know that I heard on one of the news channels about there was something with Canada, that Canada was reviewing some plans or something and they didn't like something about it, and then the next thing I heard was Obama vetoed it.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's basically um a self-regulating kind of thing going on in it, and a refusal to allow Canada to regulate the environmental aspects or to oversee the environmental regulations of it. But the biggest thing that I know about, that I see over and over again when they talk about it, they don't mention this, is that they make it out to look like it's just about this new type of oil that we extract from fracking or whatever, and that's nice, whatever, that's fine.
Now I hear fracking makes your water catch fire.
But whatever, okay, I'm sure they can find ways to fix that. Maybe. I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about is this pipeline has written in the legislation, okay, language for use as a commercial pipeline for foreign imported oil from northern ports there in Alaska. Okay. Well, who sells the most oil to us through northern ports? I didn't hear it Russia named specifically, but as soon as they said that, I'm like, ding, 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 Russia. Well, we're trying not to buy as much oil from Russia these days. Thus, the capacity of the Panhandle Eastern Pipeline, which my father fucking helped, with the security infrastructure and the database that operates it back in the 80s. We've had this for longer than that. I mean, there's tons of pipelines going from Alaska to here. Okay. So the decrease in imports from Russia should offset the capacity required for this additional inflow from fracking. Does that make sense? Like we have infrastructure already there. We need to improve the security and the safety and the environmental soundness of all of it, but we don't need to go and build entirely new shit because while we're producing more up there, we're supposed to be buying less through those ports, so we don't need to be increasing overall capacity.
Personally, we should just fucking quit using oil anyway. But
Well, I can't do that. Yeah, plastics and lubricants and all kinds of stuff, but as far as keeping the lights on and daily commutes, we need to get away from it.
yeah, that's what I mean.
But
because then we wouldn't have to be worrying about buying so much from other countries so as to not deplete our own supply.
Right.
I mean, that's what it is. It's a race to see who can keep their oil the longest.
Yeah. Yeah, and if we can make energy with other things, I'd like to keep the oil for plastic because plastic is handy. I like plastic. Plastic is good. Like pens and that shop light over there, mostly made of plastic. Whatever the punchline of this joke was probably made of plastic.
Plastic surgery?
Yeah. Even some boobies are made of plastic. See? Plastic is good. Sorry. Okay. So, how do I want to go into this?
Head first.
What do Bill Cosby and Oprah Winfrey have in common? Have in problem? Fuck. That's deep. What do Oprah Winfrey and Bill Cosby have in problem? Have in common.
Don't hurt yourself there.
What do they have in common? Like just their general, their effect on society in America. What do they have in common? Bill Cosby and Oprah Winfrey.
They're black.
Okay, they're black, obviously. Ding, ding, ding. We have one.
They're TV stars.
TV stars. Okay. Would you say they are influential TV stars?
Yes.
Very influential TV stars. Would you say that they are a good influence or a bad influence on other black people, for instance?
Good influence.
Okay. Would you think that they portrayed black people in a good way or a bad way to, say, white people, for instance?
Good way. Think of the Cosby Show. Oprah gives everybody a car.
So, when I find all these online conspiracies about how Oprah's an Illuminati, Satanist, Freemason matriarch, and I hear all these conspiracies about how Bill Cosby's a fucking serial rapist about shit that happened in the fucking 1970s, could it be that the timing of this might have something to do with the divisionary and subversive nature of the hashtag Black Lives Matter movement?
Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner.
See, Black Cosby. I have the impediment, and I was hit with the one too many punches with the snake. Yeah. Aladdin joke. Like, oh yeah, Al, or just then.
Aladdin. Hello.
Moving on. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. So, Black Bill Cosby.
As opposed to white Bill Cosby.
Yes, as opposed to albino Bill Cosby or Smurf Bill Cosby, depending on what time of Saturday morning you watch cartoons. Careful, Icarus.
I bid you adieu.
I bid you adieu. Okay, we're done.
Are we?
Bill Cosby.
Puddin' Pops.
The biggest thing that he did, the thing that he spent the most of his time on after the Cosby Show, and what was the other one? A Different World, and that other little like Cosby Show 2, where he was like in a dorm or something with. I don't know. You remember like there was like another little spinoff after the I just remember wanting some Dwayne Wayne sunglasses when I was a kid. Anyway.
Fat Albert.
Hey. Okay. Can't say it without me doing that. I'm so Black Bill fucking Cosby. Bill Cosby. Bill. Billy boy. His thing. His whole life. The purpose of his fucking being was African American personal responsibility. So right when Black Lives Matter is going to be the thing. We're talking about people who plan things in advance, people who know strategy to be a very long-term process. Okay? That's when Bill Cosby is disgraced. Things that happened in the 70s is right before Black Lives Matter started. Okay. Now, I understand the good intentions of Black Lives Matter, and I support the good intentions of Black Lives Matter. But you know what? You should have used a different hashtag. And the fact that it conveys the wrong impression was demonstrated in the videos of people saying, supporting violence against police officers. If they would have used a hashtag, say, all lives matter, for instance, might have had a different result.
Maybe.
Or Black Lives Matter too. Instead of basically trying to it's not a matter of the person who thought of the hashtag necessarily being insidious and wanting to divide people, but somebody who starts a movement like that, obviously a well-funded movement apparently, and well organized along the lines of some previous movements. But anyways, we're not going to go into pattern analysis here. But a well-funded movement like that should have the wherewithal, the thoughtfulness to, if they really want to get what they want done, if they really want to do what they claim to want to do, they would understand that you don't get things done by turning people against you. By, like, okay, ruffling feathers is one thing, but inciting racism and reverse racism, quote unquote, it's something that could easily be foreseen with something like Black Lives Matter as a hashtag. So it seems to me more logical that whoever thought using Black Lives Matter as a hashtag did so in order to create the division that has been created because of it. Because, I mean, frankly, anybody who's not black, when they first hear Black Lives Matter, they think, well, yeah, we understand that there's some incidents, but I'm not black and my life matters too. Um, everybody's life matters. The police life matters too. You know, they have families, they have children, and you know what? Some of them are dicks, but you know what? More people are killed on the fucking daily commutes on the road than by police officers. For fuck's sake. We kill more people just driving our damn cars. You know what? Automotive lives matter. Hashtag fucking
Racers' lives matter.
car. Hashtag cars are people too. No, no, they're not. Okay. So Oprah, believe it or not, Oprah was very much into personal responsibility. Um, it didn't get talked about much when people were promoting her books, but there it is in her books. And it gets mentioned occasionally that it's in her books when people interview her or she interviews, deep people. But another thing that Oprah Winfrey has, another group of people that Oprah Winfrey has empowered, has been women, especially single mothers, especially minority women of many different types. I mean, if you're not at the time when Oprah Winfrey was getting popular, for a woman who wasn't a white stay-at-home mom whose husband made more than $40,000 a year, you were a minority, and it didn't seem, if you watch TV, like your opinion mattered before Oprah Winfrey. And it's very important to subversive propagandists that America look completely full of shit, America look completely hypocritical, that America look evil and demonizable and hateable. Because like I've said in previous videos, you don't just turn an army evil. You have to convince the army that who they're going to fight is evil. Okay. And that's what's being done in the eyes of the Russian population about America, about the West in general. You should see the way they go after Europe on Russian propaganda. Uh, and, Europe with the bearded lady winning thing didn't really make it hard for them, but, you know, that's, that's a sticky situation. Anything involving a bearded lady is usually a sticky. No comment. Okay, you look like you should have been wearing a kilt just then. I should have remembered the rocks.
Be the dwarf.
Gimli, get your axe. Okay. All right. So let me see if I got any more stuff on here I want to talk about. 30 minutes. Oh. Okay. One thing I thought was interesting. Donald Trump and Ben Carson. You want to report on what's been going on with them?
The latest stuff?
Yeah.
Well, apparently.
Poll numbers and why?
Oh. Well, I haven't really been following poll numbers lately. But I did recently hear that Ben Carson's been lying through his teeth about a lot of stuff. Uh, Apparently, supposedly, he got offered a scholarship to go to West Point even though he never applied, which I don't know how that works. But apparently, also he thought that instead of the pyramids being burial tombs for, Egyptian pharaohs, they were grain holders.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. He thought Joseph built the pyramids and that they were used to store grain.
Yeah, I think he watched Joseph the King of Dreams cartoon one too many times.
I mean, everybody's entitled to their own theories, but that's not a major biblical interpretation.
And he claims it's exactly what the Bible says.
And
That's why he believes it.
for somebody to be president, they at least need to know the difference between opinion and objective thought. And this man doesn't seem to. Yet, in the past week, Ben Carson's poll numbers have skyrocketed above Donald Trump's.
Well, the moderators putting the idea of Donald Trump being in charge of launch codes kind of scared a lot of people, I think.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that terrified me a little bit when they said
And
that.
I think the real reason that as far as the powers that be goes, the Donald Trump's poll numbers. Let me quote Donald Trump. I have a little bit of notes here on this one. If Putin wants to attack ISIS in Syria, when asked about Vladimir Putin's action in Syria, he repeated Russian propaganda because Putin hasn't been really attacking ISIS in Syria. That's a narrow-minded, one-sided view of it that RT has taken.
And Fox News.
Well, no, Fox News has been more objective than Donald Trump. That should tell you something. If Putin wants to attack ISIS in Syria, let him. The thing is, Mr. Duck, that while you've been swimming around in your pool of gold coins up there in Duckburg, Putin hasn't been bombing Islamic State. He's been bombing the Free Syrian Rebels. You remember that train and equip program thing? Yeah. That. Our proxies. Our allies. He's been bombing them. Trump says, let him.
He has no concept of foreign policy at all.
So, yeah, the FSA that we've been helping and still are. Mr. Duckburg telling his ducktails have made people duck him. Yeah. Today's program is brought to you by the poultry product duck. Shucky shucky ducky. Quack quack. No, I did not just do shucky ducky on the freaking. Okay.
It's not late.
Alright. So the reason why I've been MIA on here is not only because I'm superstitious about, sixes lining up in my subscriber numbers and just, using that as an excuse to take a break. That was the first time. This time, I did some brilliant things all in one day. By brilliant, I mean completely fucking stupid. There was a big storm coming. My spine was broken in 3 places. I was riding a bicycle, got hit by a car, got smacked into a parked car, got twisted in half. Anyways, my back, not so good. And that was when I was 18 years old. Yeah, 18 years old. And a couple weeks ago, there was a big storm coming to Louisiana. Supposed to have how many inches of rain did we wind up having, dear?
9.5.
9.5 inches of rain in 24 hours. And I had some weed eating I needed to get done. And for some reason, that was more important than anticipating the flood and cleaning up the stuff and getting it out of the path of would be floodwaters. Um, but got the weed eating done. Had my back in pretty bad shape after doing the weed eating. Then about midnight, I decided to go crack open the front door. And I look outside. There was our house, a river. And
House runs through it.
yeah, I think we made this joke already. But I went outside and I see the car's wheels are halfway submerged. And then I look over a little bit and my lawnmower is just about up to the motor. The whole bottom half of the lawnmower, the wheels are underwater. And I got this wooden project out there I've been building on. And it's all floating away. So I go out there, back already hurting, wading through fucking water in these heavy ass boots that are also filled with water now, and was picking up a lawnmower and a bunch of big ass pieces of wood and stacking them all on top of each other so they wouldn't fucking float away. And I don't know what else I did, but it hurt. And it was stupid. And I've been basically on a very reluctant bed rest for the past week. I get up and clean stuff when nobody's looking. Get yelled at for it.
Yeah. Don't man me. Call you a lance. Took some cheese with that wine.
Ah. So yeah, that's why I was going to try to cover as many topics as I had written down here. Um, all right. So how Fox News shoots itself in the foot. See, crime rates and extremist nuts go down, but then they become less frequent when welfare payments go up. See, what conservatives used to be concerned about was, safety of their children and things like that. Not just nothing but money. And we used to have like slavery and segregation and a lot of different bad things in this country had happened, and we never quite did anything but put band-aids over the shit and brush it back into the past. And the problem with that is if you don't fix the problems with the societal subcultures, those subcultures are, I don't know, less evolved as societies. And they don't self police. They don't self remedy. Okay. And with the historical context, it's justifiable. It's not quite justifiable, but at least understandable that a young black man whose mama got her welfare cut or whatever and doesn't feel like he has a future because of the history of this country and because of the racism in his area, or at least perceived racism in his area. I mean, a few instances of legitimate racism makes you feel like every fucking white person who owns a business is racist. And they wind up turning to a life of crime. And statistics, every logical bone in your body should tell you, any research that's been done into it will tell you that when you cut social welfare programs, when you cut local hospitals, when you cut any programs that help poor people, those poor people are more likely to turn to crime. And add into that the historical dynamic of slavery and post-slavery racism, stuff like that, and you have an increased likelihood that decreasing welfare and social help in this country will drastically increase crime. Dumbasses. That's how Fox News shoots itself in the foot. Fox News viewers in general. Okay. What do you think there? Nail on the head or what?
Pretty much.
Anything to add?
No, I think we pretty much
All right. That's, I mean, our system should be considered not socialism. It's called socialized capitalism. And it's how a limited welfare state is the best solution to violent crime as a whole. And it's the only path towards multicultural national patriotism. Understand? And multicultural national patriotism is the essence of our morale. Okay? Our morale as a country, the troops' morale, everything depends on whether or not we can all get along here. Okay? And the Fox News anti-welfare thing on one side, okay, and the Black Lives Matter thing on the other side are both trying to make sure we don't get along. So it decreases our morale. And morale, more important than all the fancy weapons. Morale. Because do you agree or disagree?
agree.
You agree? Say you went to college, got 4-year degree in a specific field of study, went, got a job in that specific field of study. But you didn't like the company. They hired you to do what you went to school for. That company, you never really liked anything that they sold, never liked anything that they did. You heard some news stories about some of the people there, some of the practices there. They paid you good. You got to work in your field, which is, more than a lot of people get to do with 4-year degrees. Question is, do you do your best? Do you go every day to work and be all that you can be? Well, same thing, not only for troops in this country, but for intelligence operatives, for the staffers who give information to the Congress people and other people that make decisions for this country, to the intelligence professionals who give decision making information to the corporate leaders in this country. If they don't like the country that they're living in, things can be skewed different ways. And when you get to the point where a lot of people here have gotten, where you genuinely resent most people, you show it in the decisions that you make while you're at work. And people who work in jobs who affect everybody, those are the decisions they're going to wind up being very general. That'll give some people ideas they're already thinking about something. Oh, am I making any sense, dear?
Mm-hmm.
You know what the hell I'm talking about? You want to explain? Because I don't know. Oh. See, the question that nobody really knows the answer to these days is what makes a hero? I don't think most Americans believe that they have it in them to be a hero. That used to be an American thing, believe it or not. Little boys used to grow up in America and used to want to be heroes when they grew up. You think that's happening nowadays? You see it happening much these days? Because what is a hero? It used to be police were heroes. Police were considered heroes. I consider police heroes. I consider anybody who risked their lives to save other people heroes. But see, people act, just in general, human beings act how they're expected to act. Like, if you was a nice person and somebody called you an asshole every single day, just every single day, and being a nice person, you tried to be nice every day, every single day, they just called you an asshole for no reason. Guess what? One day, you'd probably snap and say, fuck you, or throw a drink in their face, or smack them one or something, right? Be the nicest person in the world. Somebody's calling you a fucking asshole for no fucking reason every day. Every day. You'd eventually probably do something a little bit assholeish, wouldn't you? Might not even be to that person. But you'd have the idea of somebody else's perception. And somebody else's perception could be more powerful than you realize, and definitely more powerful than you want it to be. But you're an asshole. Eventually, your patience is going to get a little thinner than it used to be. Just because that person called you an asshole every single day. Whether you want it to or not, whether you like it or not, it's human nature. That's how it works. You got to have some strong, rigorous spiritual practices to avoid that kind of effect. And last I checked, police officers are not Jedi Masters. Oh, am I going to get sued for saying the word Jedi Master? Shit. I mean, jetpack masters. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Away.
See, when people hate you, you live up to their standard as a form of stress relief. So, cops are human. The worse we treat cops, the worse, not better, we will be treated. Thus, this problem is going to get worse and worse the worse we treat cops. And thus, Black Lives Matter is a subversive, contrary to progress movement, and most likely an FSB Black Op. It has no intention of fixing anything. It only wants to make white people think black people are more barbaric, and it wants black people to think white people don't care, that cops are killing them all the fucking time, when it really, really just doesn't happen that much. It gets publicized a lot. But there's a lot of fucking death that goes on that's not getting publicized. You're just crying out like little sheep being led where you get fucking led. And there's a lot of false shepherds out there, and where they're leading you is right off a cliff called subversion. Yeah. America. So you got anything to say about the idea of heroism being lost here? Chivalry's gone.
I don't know. I hang out with you and it's not common. So.
Oh. I try. But, when I'm not limping too bad. She winds up holding the door open for me if I'm hurting too bad. I'm like, stop it! Damn it! I'm fucking I try to hurry up with my cane, hobbling. My door. I'm manly. Good night, everybody. We love you too.